uh, the transport layer of the application protocols of IoT. Okay, so in the chapter application protocols for IoT, the second chapter, module 3. So in the application protocols for IoT, so we are seeing two topics here. So the IoT application transport methods and the transport layer. So one by one we will see in IoT application transport methods. Okay, so we will be seeing four subtopics here. So there are four transport methods. One case is application layer protocol not present. Okay, so we have endpoints. Endpoints means the device, smart devices which are connected to the IoT networks. So endpoints, so they are very constrained in the resources, computing resources. So they do not have an application layer protocol at all. Okay, so they don't have still network layer only that much they have. So they don't have application layer protocols. So second one is supervisory control and data acquisition, SCADA, SCADA. So in SCADA, so it is an early implementation of IoT where the enterprises themselves, without any following any standards, so themselves made their own standard and started implementing. So what we will study in this topic is how to adapt old SCADA to the new system, new standards which are being developed, adopted these days. Okay, so next to application layer protocol is generic web-based protocols which are HTTP, so on, the file transfer protocols, etc. So and also IoT application layer protocols. So this is the fourth one. So this is about MQTT, so message queuing transport layer protocol, and another one COAP, constrained application layer protocol. These are the two COAP and MQTT. So these are the two protocols which are important. So one by one we will see. So this is about the first one, application layer protocol not present. Okay. So I have listed, given a diagram and also listed some 5 points. So for your study. So the application layer protocol in not present. So suppose we have sensor. Look at the bottom here. So sensor X, Y, Z. So sensors endpoints are there. Okay. So these are aggregated. Okay, these are collected and brought into a common standardized format by IoT data broker. So we don't have an application layer here. Okay, so that's why we need to something to receive all the data present and make them into a standard format. So that is done by a IoT data broker. Okay, so after that it is directly fed into the respective applications. Here the application protocols are not present because sensor X, Y, Z, they are sensors. Okay, so they cannot host an application layer protocol in the present sense. So this is, so we will see one by one according to the author, the explanation we will see. So so these are defined for class 0. So that means very much resource constrained endpoints. So class 0, so which send or receive only a few bytes of data. Okay. So these devices do not implement a fully structured network protocol stack. So till from OS, for example, OSI model, from physical layer to application layer, layer by layer, they don't have memory or computation power to do those things. So the class 0 devices are usually simple smart objects like sensors that are severely constrained. Implementing a robust protocol stack is not usually useful. So they transmit or receive only a few bytes of data. So there is no need to implement a robust protocol, and sometimes it is not even possible. So with the limited available resources. So the solution to this problem is a IoT data broker, which we have seen in the diagram. So this is about application layer protocol not present. Now we will start with the supervisory control and data acquisition, SCADA. So, so again, as I said previously, SCADA was in a proprietary industrial implementation. They were following their own standards. Okay, so now we have an um, and a situation where we have to adapt the legacy system, that is SCADA, to a more modernized standards which are being published. Okay, so that's why with respect to IP we are talking in this chapter. So we are talking about adapting SCADA for IP. So the rapid adoption of Ethernet networks in the industrial world drove the evolution of SCADA application layer protocols. Ethernet networks first when there was no standards. So to facilitate the support of legacy industry protocols over IP networks, now the modern IP protocols which are being published. Okay, so those has to be adopted with the old implementation. So protocol specifications are updated and published. The SCADA has to be adopted for new technologies, new IP technologies. So what is the issue we are seeing here? So tunneling legacy SCADA over IP networks. So we know what is tunneling. Suppose we have a region of, for example, two SCADA networks are there, and in between IP network is there. So SCADA packets will be encapsulated in a IPv6. So in this case, because it's a modernized one, IPv6 packet, then transported over through the IP network and delivered to the destination SCADA network, where it is decapsulated and further processed. So this process is called tunneling. So it tunnels to the IP network. So SCADA system collects sensor data and telemetry from remote devices. So while also providing the ability to control them. Observe the name: supervisory control and data acquisition. There is data acquisition and also there is control of the systems. Okay, so SCADA systems allow global, real-time, data-driven decisions. Okay, so to be made about how to improve business processes. The SCADA is mainly concentrated in the utilities and manufacturing industrial verticals. So deployments of legacy industrial protocols like SCADA in modern IP networks call for flexibility. So when integrating several generations of devices or operations that are tied to various releases and versions of applications. So that's what they basically say. Okay, so the SCADA is mainly concerned with the utilities. So there are older systems, we have to adapt it to modern IP. So how? Through tunneling. Okay, so and also transport of the original serial protocols over IP can be achieved by tunneling, as we have again. So using raw sockets over TCP or UDP, or by installing an intermediate device that performs the protocol translation. So that's another way. Apart from tunneling, that's another way of so tunneling through protocol transmission translation. Okay, so a raw socket connection simply denotes that the serial data is being packaged directly into a TCP or UDP transport. Okay, so this is about a SCADA. So these are the points we have to remember. The requirement is we have SCADA which have been implemented as in early in Ethernet standards by different, and they don't have a standard. So now the standards, new standards are being published, and there is a need for adapting SCADA to new standards of IP. So that is achieved through tunneling. So that's about SCADA. So the third one is the generic web-based protocols. So these are web-based protocols, HTTP and so HTTPS and JavaScript, so WebSocket protocols, file transfer protocols. These are the higher level protocols. These are mainly used for endpoints which can handle all these uh, IP stacks. Okay, so for example, our mobile phones, so they have capability to implement, execute all the encryptions and all the layers of protocols. So they have computing power, they have storage capacity. So these type of endpoints, if we have in IoT, then we can implement a generic web-based protocols. We don't have to design a specialized one. We can use already existing general web-based protocols. Just what kind of protocols? That's some explanation is given. So I have given 4 points here on generic web-based protocols. So the level of familiarity of generic web-based protocols is high. Therefore, programmers with basic web programming skills can work on IoT applications, and this may lead to innovative ways to deliver and handle real-time IoT data. So if we are able to use the web-based protocol. Okay, so if the device endpoint has the capabilities, then that leads to a lot of innovations, a lot of facilities can be provided. So the definition of constrained nodes and network must be analyzed to select the most appropriate protocol. So the non-constrained networks such as Ethernet, okay, or Wi-Fi or 3G, 4G, 5G, where bandwidth is not perceived as a potential issue. Okay, data payloads based on XML, JSON can be transported using HTTPS. Okay, so this allow implementers to develop their IoT applications in a context similar to web applications, because so all the facilities given in the web applications can be used in programming these IoT applications also, because they are run on capable devices. Okay, so the recent evolutions of embedded web server software with advanced features are now implemented. So with very little memory, so they are more efficient. So this enables the use of embedded web services software on some constrained devices. So these, for example, mobile phone themselves act as a server. So those kind of things of so when considering web services implementation on IoT device, the choice between supporting the client or server side of the connection must be carefully weighted. So a mobile phone can be a client. So if you design an app, IoT app, where mobile phone acts as a server, so it should be carefully considered. Okay, so whether it has the capability to do all those things. Okay, so you are using web protocols, what kind of device has to be endpoints, what kind of device has to be server, so that has to be carefully thought. So IoT devices that only push data to an application may need the implementation of web services on the client side. So the HTTP client side only initiate connections and does not accept incoming ones. So we have end devices, so which only transmits, collects all the signals and transmit it to the server. So it's a one-way communication. So we don't design something that client also responds with something, right? So we have to, while it's also so generic web-based protocols. So though it is an IoT-based context in the context, so capable endpoints are used. So which are not resource constrained. The network is like 4G and 5G, and they are also not resource constrained. So in those, all the facilities which are available for developing a web-based general application, all those facilities can be used in developing IoT application also. So if we just recall what we have come on the line. So in the first one, application layer itself was not present, so the devices were not capable, they were severely constrained, they transmitted or received very few bytes of data. So uh, they so application layer protocol itself was not present. So next one, SCADA. So there it was an application protocol. SCADA is the application protocol for industry. So they did not have a standard, or they were very old and obsolete. So those system has to be adapted to the new IP network standard, and this SCADA is only adapted to IPv6 and not IPv4. Uh, so that's the second step. The third, how to adapt a SCADA to the new standards of IP network? That's the issue here. So the third one, so generic web-based protocols here, the endpoints or the IoT devices, they have ample memory and computing power. So the networks are also good. So all the facilities, protocol facilities which are used in web based also can be used here. So it's a generic, so from nothing, application protocol not present, to we came here to a generic web based protocol. Now after generic we want to specialize, that's the fourth step, right? So application layer was not present, then something intermediary came like SCADA, then okay, use generic web based protocols, what all use you also use. Okay, so then okay, this is IoT, we will design something specialized one. So we go to IoT application layer protocols, that is a COAP and MQTT. So we'll see in the next video.